Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for February 2022. So on Friday, February 18th, we have the sun moving out of Aquarius season and moving into Pisces. Pisces energy is the last zodiac in the astrological wheel. And when we look at the progression through the zodiac of how each of these energies actually contribute to our overall evolution, Pisces season is where we wrap it all up, where we piece things together, where we conjure up a new dream, where we absorb new spiritual insights that we're able to kind of let settle within us, prepare us to bring them to life when we enter into Aries season and initiate the brand new astrological calendar. So Pisces energy is a water energy. It is the third water energy out of the zodiac. The first one, of course, being Cancer. That helps us really get into our ego selves, our intuition, how we relate to the family, where it is that we need to nurture ourselves, nurture other people. We have that Scorpio energy that pushes us to relate to other people, to really find an intimate, deep connection, to recognize where it is we have to transform our pain into power, very much connected on how we kind of connect to other people in the realm. Well, Pisces energy is about how we connect to the universe, to our spiritual selves, to everything that is not earthly. It is when we gain huge perspective, huge insight. Of course, following Aquarius season, that's when we have our minds blown, where we're downloaded with new ideas and new inspirations. And Pisces season is a time for us to kind of sit with that, for us to tap into our creativity, for us to get lost in dreamland, in la la land, kind of focusing in on what it is that we want to actually express outward. And of course, we'll get that opportunity to do so when we move into Aries season, get a little bit of fire, and are actually able to bring things to life. So here's the thing. Pisces season, being a water sign, very emotional, very intuitive, very, very creative. This is when the writers and the poets and the musicians come out to play. This is our inner realms being very spotlighted. And for many of us, we're going to keep a lot of this in. We're very motivated on the inside, but we're really not in a position to do much. We're not motivated to exert that energy outwards. We're kind of sitting with the feelings. And being a water sign, we have to learn how to go with the flow. Water, as you know, is able to take on many states. It can be calm, cool, collective. It can be choppy and rough. It can turn into steam and a gas, or it could be cold and rigid and frozen. We are going to have to do a lot of unraveling here in Pisces season. This is the last opportunity for us to reflect back over all it is that we've gone through, especially since March of last year. We've had a lot of information come in. It has essentially changed our whole belief system. And now we're kind of seeing the connections. We're seeing why we had to go through these darker parts, through these challenges. Why? Because it pushes us inward. It gets us to know our inner strength, our higher selves. It pushes us to want to seek something higher, something more meaningful, something more purposeful that is not earth-based. So this is kind of where we get connected to the higher realms. And what a beautiful time to do that, wrapping up the 22222 portal. And where it is that we are going to kind of sit with the creative vision that we're now putting together based off of the ideas and the inspirations that we just got downloaded with in Aquarius season. Now we get to sit with it. Now we get to really just kind of float back in these emotional waters. We get to understand where it is that we have to love ourselves, where it is we have to reignite the passion, the desire within ourselves. It is when we understand the higher level of wisdom of all that is transpired. Now, with all the pros, there are some serious cons. Let's talk about the cons. The shadow side of Piscean energy is the victimhood mentality, being so passive aggressive in life that you think that everything is a personal attack. We're also under a very heavy delusion in Pisces because, of course, we can float off to la la land and romanticize. We can conjure up different versions of the reality, versions of the truth. We can tend to get a little bit down on ourselves, feel bad for ourselves. Why? Because we're so freaking hypersensitive, being connected to ourselves and the world around us and the metaphysical realm and the universe, that's a lot of energy. And because the Piscean energy also is very connected to the unconscious collective, again, in Aquarius season, that was the conscious collective. That's why we've seen some ugly parts of humanity emerge under the Aquarian energy. And now we're so overwhelmed, we don't know what to do with it. Many of us want to stick our head back in the sand. This is a con for the Piscean energy. This is a good time to get straight within ourselves. So we have a help here because, of course, Pisces energy sits across from Virgo energy. That is, the dualistic, polarized energy that Piscean energy constantly opposes. That Virgo energy is really good at analyzing our dark thoughts, picking ourselves apart, casting judgment and criticism over ourselves. And one might say, well, geez, that doesn't sound too pleasant, but it is absolutely necessary in order to strip back the layers of our ego selves and become purified. Virgo energy wants to purify our physical realms. The Piscean energy wants to purify our spirit, our soul, our connection with the divine. We do have an ebb and flow. And again, I want you to just consider the fact that we're in a water season. There's going to be a lot of transformation. We're going to take on many different states while we go through Piscean energy. And although we're having a lot of creativity really be initiated within us, we're really not the greatest at letting it out. This is very much a reflective time, an introverted time. We're sitting, we're stewing with our thoughts, with our feelings. And again, we're in preparation mode for unleashing all of that beautiful creativity, these beautiful thoughts, these beautiful feelings, these beautiful ideas that will not come out of us until the energy supports us in doing so. And that usually happens with Aries season. We have no fire in the cosmos right now. Fire is initiation. Fire is leadership. Fire is bringing things to life. We don't have that right now. Right now, we just have to kind of zone out. We just kind of have to go with the flow. We just have to kind of be aware of all that is going on within us to see where it is that we are motivated to bring some of these beautiful ideas into our physical realm. Now, communication likely will not be that great. Why? Because we're floating off in la la land. We are within our inner realms. The communication with your higher self, with your intuition, with the inner realm, very strong. Trying to communicate with other people, likely not going to happen, especially if there's been tension. And of course, the Aquarian energy highlighted for us where there has to be tension. There has to be pressure. There has to be a breaking point in order for a breakthrough to happen. But this Piscean energy will go to the end of the earth to avoid confrontation. This Piscean energy just wants to keep things shallow, light, and fluffy, which is really a tough contradiction, seeing that the depth of the Piscean energy in waters is so freaking deep that many of us feel like we are drowning. We want to tune out the problems of the world. We want to tune out the conflicts of the world. We don't want to tackle them. We're going to hope that we're just going to float off into la la land and they're going to resolve themselves. Of course, that's not what's going to happen, but we are so dreamy, so imaginative in Pisces season that we really don't want to deal with the reality of our physical lives. And being the escape artist of the zodiac, we will definitely be challenged to actually stay in our physical realm, stay in our physical bodies, because the tendency is to disassociate, to check out, to curl up in a ball, to stare off into space and totally not connect with the problems, with the situations that need to be addressed in our physical realms. So we're kind of seeing how this is going to kind of unfold into some choppy waters, some calm waters. I want you to think of looking out over a very calm body of water, the ocean, a lake, whatever you choose, and seeing the reflection of, the environment, the moon, the stars, the skies, the sun, reflective off that. It's very peaceful. But trust me, if you're out in the middle of the ocean and it starts getting choppy and you're being all tossed around and thrown around, that doesn't feel so good either. So we are going to feel the extremes of this water energy. Here's the thing though, we have a big heart because our energy bodies expand to the fullest in Pisces season. That's why we're so hypersensitive. We don't know what we're picking up on. Is it our energy? Is it everyone else's energy? Is it the collective's energy? We don't know. This is why we got to move within ourselves. We got to get real. We got to understand where boundaries need to be put in place. And the Piscean energy is not good at boundaries. There are no boundaries in Piscean energy. It's where everything blends together. Piscean energy is represented by the two fish that are constantly chasing each other, eating away at each other's tail. Why? Because it's the undoing of the ego. We have to strip away the ego for us to be in our purest form of soul self. And that's exactly what's going to happen by the time that Piscean season is over. Why? Because we have to have a certain quote unquote death in order for a brand new life to be born. And of course, that comes with Aries season. So our hearts are big. We're having a lot of empathy. We're having a lot of compassion. But again, it can get very overwhelming. This is a good time to dive into a spiritual practice. This is a good time to recognize where it is that you need some serious boundaries in your physical realm, in your spiritual practice, in your mental health, in your emotional health, in order for us to restore the energy that has literally been sucked out of us over this last astrological calendar, because we are about to get revived, rebirthed under the Aries energy when the new astrological calendar begins.